But before that, let's talk about potholes. You know and I know we can have a full switchboard and do all day, every day on potholes, because pretty much everyone in this country has been impacted by potholes. It's not just how unsightly they are, how dangerous they are. It's also the damage that they can cause to motorist vehicles when you just simply can't avoid them. Or to avoid them would involve crashing your car. Well, then you'd be sued for it, wouldn't you? So people often have no choice. And yet, it's extraordinary how few of the pothole compensation claims that people make to local councils are actually paid out on. A set of research carried out by the Telegraph has discovered that of 179 councils in England, Scotland and Wales responsible for road maintenance, they're responsible for keeping them in good nick. Out of they managed to get basically about half of the 317 councils in total. They faced basically a bunch of the councils who responded, so only really about 6 of them, paid out a collective £9 million over the 3 years between 2021 and last year in terms of compensation. They got 66,000 claims from motorists in that time. Bearing in mind, this is only a fraction of the number of claims there would be because all the other councils didn't reply. They only paid out in just over 10,000 cases. So 5 out of 6 cases, people claimed compensation, often for serious damage to their vehicle, and they did not get the payout. Well, let's talk about this with Howard Cox. He's founder of Fair Fuel UK and joins us now. Hello, Howard.
Hello, Julia. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. Howard, I mean, this is the bane of motorist life and indeed cyclist life, even more dangerous for cyclists when there's a pothole straight in front of them. But I know you always worry about the motorists more, but, you're legally entitled, if the pothole's been identified, should have been filled in, you're legally entitled to claim compensation. But councils aren't paying. Why is that?
Well, it's very simple. They've got no cash, and so they're trying to deliberately put the onus on the driver to prove that actually the pothole did cause the damage. And there's the problem. That's the nub of the problem, to actually prove that when you went over that pothole, you won't know you've had that damage until perhaps a few miles down the road or even hours later. Yeah. Those are the issues. And of course, how you go back and take a photograph of the thing, you've got to go through this whole process. And all I can say to you that, there are 3,200 reports every single day about potholes to count.
Every single day. And we know we are looking at multi-billion pound cost to mend all the potholes. But even people who perhaps don't drive that much, and it's not one of their big things. I mean, a lot of people have to drive every single day, and they drive on roads that are covered in potholes. And people are watching on YouTube. You can see some of the footage, some of the potholes. They're full of water. They are a danger. I mean, they're a danger to pedestrians, cyclists, everyone else on the road, but and a cost to motorists. But here's the thing: so councils are required to mend them, but they don't mend them. They often spend more money compensating motorists than filling in potholes. What is the solution? I mean, are we just waiting for every single road to just be a complete pothole and then it'll just be levelled out? Are we just a third world country? But I've been to places like Cambodia where literally it takes you, 2 hours to go a couple of miles because the potholes are literally like craters. Is that what we're heading for?
Well, I know a few A roads like that at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
No, with one statistic is coming out, 1 mile in every 3 miles of Derbyshire roads, for example, are in need of immediate serious maintenance. That's 1 in every 3 miles. I mean, what the problem we have is the governments don't understand that road transport needs a long-term strategy. It's always been sticking plaster policies. Yeah. I mean, that you can equate that to other policies in this government as well. But roads are commercial, social and essential arteries to our economy. And this is the point. 37 million drive. And you regularly make the point, not everyone has great public transport.
Most of the country.
Exactly that. And one of our problems now is that it's the danger. Drivers and cyclists. I may have a war with cyclists, as you well know I do. But I think
everyone should have a war with cyclists who don't obey the law. But I'm certainly supportive of cyclists who are cycling completely within the law, who are facing risk of injury or death because of potholes.
Well, that's the point. They spend more time negotiating a slalom, looking at the road rather than looking at the road ahead. Yep. It becomes more and more dangerous. And I'm waiting for at least one government, even the Tories, and I've been fighting campaigns for the motorists for the last 15 years, as you know. They've all actually let roads go by the wayside. Yeah. If they invested actually in roads, the same amount they invest in railways, you get 4 times return to GDP.
And by the way, most people in this country don't take a train from one year to the next. Or if they're like me last Friday trying to take my mum out for her birthday lunch, they get on the wrong train and end up in Taunton when they didn't mean to go to Taunton. Very nice conductor, though. Very sweetly told me how to get there. But anyway, really appreciate you joining us. Howard Cox, founder of Fairfuel UK. That's how often I get a train. Got on the wrong... I don't know how at the age of 56 you can get on the wrong sodding train, but I did. Give a final word to you, Philip Ingram.
Yeah, well, potholes, part of the problem is that this is given down to local government, who then use the money for other things. The motorways and stuff have got greater control.
Well, also, I mean, someone hits a pothole on a motorway, you're in different territory.
Well, exactly, but there needs to be a national strategy that looks at this in a way that...
One of my things, quite often, damage to people, and it used to be just like little local roads, and then it's A roads, and it's major roads. I'm just embarrassed. Yeah. I mean, even central London, A roads covered in potholes. Yeah. I mean, roads, people travelling, from major airports. We're a first world country. Yeah. Well, it's embarrassing. We look like we're third world.
Yeah, well, the way to get through them is you need big 4x4s and big trucks.
Oh, that's the answer. It doesn't
affect your suspension and damage your car.
Yeah.
But then that damages the roads more.
Yeah, we have a lot of conversations in my house about the speed at which I go over speed bumps, let alone over. But there we are.
See, I've got a truck, I can do it.
Hope you're well. Anyway, I'd love a monster truck. It'd be great. I mean, my parking's bad enough as it is. But anyway, Philip, I have to say goodbye to you right now because Philip Cardwell will be in that seat in just a few minutes. Tell us, Peter, you're right. You're Philip. Peter Cardwell. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still thinking about ending up in Taunton when I'm supposed to be taking my mum to lunch. But there we are. Philip, it's been such a pleasure, and I know everyone always enjoys it. Your knowledge, your expertise on so many of the different areas we're talking about as a former senior military intelligence officer, really appreciated here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.